I should be presenting my screen too. That way you can see what I'm working on up here. Just going to be on my entire screen. Okay. So the percent proportion, which you can use for any percent problem, is percent out of 100 equals part over whole. Okay, that is the percent proportion. And so in any of these problems you are given, this number is always 100. You're given two of these things, either the percent and the part or the whole. You're given two of them, and you're trying to solve for the third one. So just like we solved proportions, that's why we practiced the cross-multiplying IXL, the solving proportions the other day. Get back used to doing those. That's how you do these problems, okay? So the key is to identify in the problem, what are they giving you? Are they giving you part, whole, or percent? Okay, so what percent of 90 is 9? There's no percent here, so they're not giving you the percent. That's what you're trying to find. What percent? Okay, so that's the question. The 90 we know is the whole because it comes after the word of. The number that comes after the word of is the whole, and that means that 9 will be the part. So I set up my problem. Percent, that's the unknown, over 100 equals 9, the part, over 90, the whole. And I cross multiply, use the butterfly, right? This is what we did in the video lesson. 90 x equals 900. Divide both sides by 90 to get the answer. And as Tori was saying, it's 10. And because they're asking for the percent, it's 10%. Okay. Now we learned the fast way to do this problem. Last week it was on the quiz. The fast way to do 9 out of 90 is to just divide in your calculator 9 divided by 90, and you would get 0.1, which is 10% when you convert decimal to percent. Okay, so we know how to do this problem already, the quick way with a calculator. Okay, but if you had trouble with those, you can always do these problems using the percent proportion now. And notice that your answer doesn't come out as a decimal. It comes out as the percent. The answer to this is 10. You don't move the decimal point when you solve with the percent proportion. There's no decimal point moving, okay? Because the 100 is already in there, in the proportion, all right? Okay, so go ahead and work these next two. Work these next. All right, so this one, 2% of 35. So what you're looking for there is the part, right? So part over whole, and the part is the unknown. Cross multiply, divide by 100, you get 0.7. 2% of 35 is 0.7.
It's 1,001 points.
So this problem number 3 is the kind of problem that we don't know how to do in another method. We didn't learn how to find the whole in either of the methods we learned last week, the dividing part divided by whole or changing the percent to a decimal and multiplying. That's how you would do this one without using the percent proportion. This one, we use the percent proportion to solve what is the whole. That's the method we're going to use every time for that question. Okay. How do you know you're looking for the whole number on this one? Because it says of what, which means the number after the word of is unknown. Okay. That means this is the part, and obviously this is the percent because it has a percent sign on it. Okay. And you should be done now. Here's what this one's supposed to look like. Your percent proportion then is 90.5 over 100 equals 62 over X, or W. You can put a W in here instead because you're looking for the whole. Okay, cross multiply, 90.5 times X equals 6,200. Divide by 90.5 and you get 68.5, which I saw from many people. So good. Okay, so it says here, round to the nearest tenth, which means one place after the decimal point. So 69 would be rounded to the nearest whole, or nearest one. Okay, so watch your rounding instructions on all these problems. Which reminds me that if you had trouble rounding on the quiz, which some of you did, I posted an IXL assignment on rounding decimals, which is good practice for that, since you have to do that on almost every problem. And in future units, you're going to have to do, there's a lot of rounding that you have to do now on problems. So, all right, last one we'll do together. Brand A cereal contains 10 cups of cereal. How many more cups of cereal are there in brand B? How many more cups in brand B? Well, geez, it doesn't tell you anything about brand B in the problem over here. But you look at the picture, it says that brand B has 30% more cereal. Okay, so that means it's 30% more than this. So the question is, what is 30% of the brand A amount of cereal? Okay, so a lot of times in word problems like this, you have to kind of reword it as the basic percent problem. What is blank percent of what? Or blank is what percent of what, right? So you write it like that. So the question here is what I wrote in here. What is 30% of 10 cups? That's the simplified question of this real world problem, which you always kind of have to do. Normally you do this in your head. Okay, when you're looking at this, you're like, okay, it's looking for how many more cups. It gives you the percent. That's 30% of 10 cups. So that means that what I'm looking for is the part. Okay, I'm looking for the part in this problem. What the part is, they give you the percent, and 10 cups is the whole. What is 30% of 10 cups? Now, some of you can just do this in your head because this is one of those mental ones we did before using the 10% rule, okay? Or you could do it using 0.3 times 10, like we learned last week. Or if you were confused on both of those, which I know some of you were, you can use the percent proportion. So 30 over 100, percent over 100 equals part over whole. Part over whole. So cross multiply. 300 equals 100 times x. Divide by 100. X equals 3. Okay. Real world problem. Word in your answer. Right? What?